the best kept secret, most slept on. Keep that dirt off me like I was Teflon. I'm rare money, boss, little do you know I spit thoughts, take part. Join me as I crash mics, rip hearts. Take notice, confuse me not. I'm not here to snatch those and serve the fiends on the block. I'm no killer, but I got fam with certain time for busting shots. Let's learn the hard way to come to the devil's plot. Losing years, but he'll be back stronger. So I'm holding it down just a little bit longer. And when the whole team come back to combine, those who stand against and oppose is wartime. But we can keep it kosher. Let the grown men talk. Keep the guns in a holster. Let the bullshit walk. But let me know if you want it, you can get it. But the outcome for all of us is something we gon' regret. Yo, we're all in the same boat. Got similar dreams. Just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things. We're all in the same boat. Got similar dreams. Just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things.
Formed like Voltron, we back on the scene. Them just got home, equal stacks of the green. Powerhouse squad, DMV dream team. Busting out like a fat person wearing skinny jeans. Popping and ripping strings out the inseam. Check the flavor we bring, it's such an incredible thing. Ground level to the tippy. Feeling the vibe, pop it in the ride and fucks with me. Strong foundation. No time for wasting, I'm done pacing. The time is now, for Prado. You know my motto. Burn a split, take a step, yeah, that's that pip. High grade, water down rappers is bitch made. Flow tight like barbershop fades. The world ain't ready for this invasion where we raid. Tired of being broke. It's time to get skrilla.
Yo, we all in the same boat. Got similar dreams, just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things. We all in the same boat. Got similar dreams, just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things.
Yo, I'm dynamite, TNT in the bomb. I be running tracks down about 5 miles long. My lungs are strong, danger sounds the alarm. I'm back on my routine, it's the same damn song with the new twist added. I'm at it, you can't stand it. Mr. 456 in the mix, a track addict. Call it a hobby or habit, I work the magic. Music, I abuse it and stab it, I cause havoc. This is what I do on the regular when I'm spitting. Whether freestyle or written, you bet that I'm hard hitting. Still on the mission to practice becoming Christian. I am what I eat and I chef straight out the kitchen. Bringing that hell and ring that bell in the shell. With my index fingers press buttons light up the grill. Yo, let's have a cookout and battle, do what you feel. Better make it sound good, I make time stand still.
Yo, we all in the same boat. Got similar dreams, just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things. We all in the same boat. Got similar dreams, just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things. Yo, we all in the same boat. Got similar dreams, just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things. We all in the same boat. Got similar dreams, just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things.
Hello everyone and welcome to session 3 of the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. My name is Randy Henderson and I am one of the Black Feminist Reading Circle members of this online group. This session runs from January 20th until June 2nd and includes 2 week-long breaks. Our democratically selected reading material is Harriet A. Washington's book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. Our book group meets each Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 8 on the Google Plus Hangouts on Air platform. You may find the Global Black Feminist Reader Circle on Google Plus, YouTube, and Facebook, and always feel free to join us in reading our story together.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. This is Session 3. I'm your moderator, Joel Jones. We're on Chapter 10, Cage Subjects, Research on Black Prisoners. Like I said, I'm Joel Jones. I am from Charleston, South Carolina, and at this particular time, we would like everyone to go around the circle and everyone to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Edwina. I'm here with my son in Utah, who's in the Army.
Okay. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
My name is Vanita Walker, and I am here from Cromwell, Connecticut. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Randy. I'm watching from Atlanta, and I'm happy to see everyone.
Georgette?
I'm Georgette Moses. I'm participating from Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm happy to see everyone too. We have a big crowd tonight. This is good.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I'm in New York, and it's also really good to see everybody.
All right. Miss Michelle?
And my name is Michelle. I am in Brooklyn, New York, and welcome everyone to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle.
Just like most of the chapters in this book is very difficult, to comprehend how human beings can treat other human beings this way. So in this chapter, Harriet Washington presents information on the inhumane treatment perpetrated on prisoners by medical researchers, doctors, prison and state government officials, and the military under the guise of therapeutic treatment or for the purpose of national security. Those who had lost civil rights now were persuaded to participate in human experiments that would leave them severely disfigured, mentally or physically incapacitated or dead. They existed in the hell of the prison system as pharmaceutical guinea pigs and subject to the whims and sadism and greed, arrogant, racist physicians and their staff. Prisons all across the country were involved from the early 50s. It took scandals, lawsuits, and stringent regulations on human experimentation by U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare in 1978 to purge research from prisons. However, by 1999, Boston University researchers were suing to regain access to over 2 million potential guinea pigs in the prison system around the nation.
A, cheaper than chimpanzees. Using a quote from Pentax, a 1963 British medical journal, Washington shows us the popular view on prisoner human experimentation. Even the nicest American scientists believe that criminals are fine experimental material and much cheaper than chimpanzees. Federal regulations dictate that modern human medical experiments consist of at least 3 formal phases. Phase 1, asking how safe is the drug. Phase 2, drug safety and effectiveness. And Phase 3, comparing the drug to standard treatment. Prisoners are considered ideal healthy subjects for Phase 1 studies, but more than 90% never get to Phase 2 because the drugs are so toxic. According to Washington, 40 to 61% of inmates in the United States are African American, and their overrepresentation as research subjects is no accident. Racially skewed medical theories on criminality allow inhumane experimentation to be conducted on those who have no choice and no help. To drive this point home, she shares the story of Jesse Williams, a former inmate of the Holmesburg prison system in Pennsylvania. For 40 years, he suffered in the Stygian scientific kingdom of Dr. Albert M. Kligman, a University of Pennsylvania dermatologist who conducted experimentation on prisoners for pharmaceutical companies. Mr. Williams survived experiments that included being burned by radiation and sulfuric acid, having his arms immersed in chemicals that tanned his skin like leather, having acid rubbed onto his scrotum until the skin fell away. His armpits were cut to study the glands, and his back was scarred in an attempt to create keloids. Patches of poison oak and ivy and flesh from dead bodies were implanted in his back. He inhaled vapors infused with influenza and other viruses. Harsh chemicals and ointments left his back a checkerboard of rectangular scars, and his head was bald and abraded from detergents. Mr. Williams was paid between $3 a session to $50 for multiple sessions conducted at the same time. He suffers today from many physical and mental problems, but many of his former fellow inmates involved in these studies are dead. Dr. Kligman became a millionaire. This sounds really horrible, even given all that we have read so far, but sadly, this was the norm for these experiments. These inmates never had the opportunity to give informed consent. There were no explanations of what was being done to them or harmful side effects. You want me to read all the questions?
Yes, ma'am, if you would. Yes.
Question.
Go ahead.
Question 1. Robert Boyle, the 17th century father of chemistry, encouraged the use of jail inmates as experimental subjects. Black physicians followed suit. In a 1910 editorial in their chief publication, the Journal of the National Medical Association, it was suggested that these prisoners, especially African Americans, could expiate their debt to society through use as unwilling research subjects. Do you believe that this approach was the best way for Black doctors to protect their African American patients and pursue research? Could they have done anything else? Question 2. Federal regulations dictate that modern human medical experiments consist of at least 3 formal phases. Phase 1, how safe is the drug? Phase 2, drug safety and effectiveness. And phase 3, drug is compared to standard treatment. Prisoners are considered ideal healthy subjects for phase 1 studies, but more than 90% never get to phase 2 because the drugs are so toxic. How does this make you feel about those drugs and cosmetics that do make it through for public use? Question 3. Do you think Americans are still comfortable today with allowing prisoners to be exploited through this type of medical research? Why or why not?
Well, go ahead, Michelle, if you want to answer any one of those or all of those.
Oh, wow. um, the first question, do you believe that this approach was the best way for Black doctors to protect their African American patients and pursue research? No. What I think the and help me if I'm not remembering this accurately, but I think that the doctors were saying, that it was better to use prisoners than to use people on the outside. And so, I don't know. I say no because, as we talked about before, I don't believe in this fast pace of progress, for one thing. I mean, this research, I think, was more about making money, for the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies than any kind of actual human progress. But there's some element of what good will come out of the research. So, at some level, I understand what the Black doctors were concerned about. But I don't know. I want to sit with that one for a minute because there's something I want to say, but I have to
Okay, cool.
get it out.
All right. So, Randy, how does what Michelle said so far, how does that sit with you about the Black doctors and their complicitness with the experimentation?
Well, honestly, while Michelle was talking, I was thinking about the second question. How does this make you feel about those drugs and cosmetics that do make it through for public use? When I read this part of the book, all I was thinking about was the razor they have out that be on the commercials, info commercials, where it's like no hurt, and it's like a laser razor, but you don't feel any pain, and it's supposed to make it go away. And it just made me wonder from reading through the experiments that they tried on these prisoners, was it always painless? Or how many people did they use to figure out how to make it not so painless, not so painful? And that's honestly what I was thinking about. But let me go back to Michelle's question. Due to this approach is the best way for Black doctors to protect to research, could they have done anything else? I think that this reminds me so much of when Vanita was talking about a chapter we read where the Tuskegee chapter and the nurse, I can't remember her name, was said she didn't know, she couldn't possibly have known at first, and Vanita was like, I'm not hearing that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that reason to it's so honestly so painful to read, because like Harriet Washington says, a lot of these prisoners were of African descent, and a lot of times you can't really prove somebody really did something and they're black and they're in jail. How can you really say that this is the way they can expiate their debt to society? You can't really say that about all the African American prisoners that was in prison.
Right.
And so I don't think I disagree with it. I think that they to say that they could have done anything else instead, I'm not sure, because they are black physicians in 1910. So I don't think that that's really realistic. But I'm not going to say that their explanation was honorable.
I can, well, I'll say my thoughts on that. But Edwina, on number 3, do you think we as Americans, are we still comfortable for allowing prisoners to be exploited this way?
Not at this stage of the game. Luckily, there are some conscientious prisoners. Maybe I'm mentioning them too soon. The black Muslims who were aware that the black prisoners were disproportionately being used in the prisons for experimentations, and that it was totally inhumane. And I'm glad that they declined and revolted against being used. I have members of my family, unfortunately, who went to prison and back in the 50s, and I have a nephew who's in prison, and he's a Muslim. So I think that, according to federal regulations, that the government ignored, these doctors ignored government regulations to experiment on human beings and violate their human rights, not just civil rights, but their human rights. And I believe the Nuremberg Code even suggested that, it says here on page 258, the Nuremberg Code, which was revised to govern future medical experimentations. I think the American doctors didn't feel that they were obliged to follow those rules against human experimentation, so they just ignored the Nuremberg codes and went on and did their own thing.
Okay.
It's the best kept secret, most slept on. Keep that dirt off me like I was Teflon. I'm wearing money course, little do you know I spit thoughts, take part. Join me as I grasp my grip hearts. Take notice, confuse me not. I'm not here to snatch those and serve the fiends on the block. I'm no killer, but I got fam with certain time for busting shots. Let's learn the hard way to come to the devil's plot. Losing years, but he'll be back stronger. So I'm holding it down just a little bit longer. And when the whole team come back to combine, those who stand against and oppose is wartime. But we can keep it kosher. Let the grown men talk. Keep the guns in a holster. Let the bullshit walk. But let me know if you want it, you can get it. But the outcome for all of us is something we don't regret. Yo, we're all in the same boat. Got similar dreams. Just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends. Some would love to see it fail. Not living our dreams. If we all combine, we can do incredible things. We're all in the same boat. Got similar dreams. Just trying to stay afloat. Fighting off devils and fiends.